Today we are going to work on Module 6, Lesson 1. This starts off our whole concept of trying to figure out coordinates. So when you go through, it's very important to look at the number line or look at the chart and figure out how the numbers are grouped and what each line segment represents. Some are going to be whole number, some are going to be fractions. The first thing you're going to want to look at is, are we dealing with a fraction or a whole number on this number line? And then pay close attention to, are they looking for the distance between 2 points? Are they talking about the distance from the origin? So that plays a huge role, okay, guys? So let's take a look. Number 1 is saying answer the following questions using number line Q below. On here for A, now I circled in pink the numbers that you're going to have to do on your homework. I am going to walk you through those so that you can have help. It is so important for you to watch this video so that you can go through and I will walk you through each problem and point out what you need to make sure to do. For part A, what is the coordinate or the distance from the origin of the smile? Okay, first things first, yesterday you should have figured out origin is 0. It's that starting point. Okay, at your number line it's 0. When you've got a chart, it's always going to be down here where 0 and 0 meet. So, what's the coordinate or the distance from the origin to the smiley face? Okay, so now we know we're going from here to here. Next thing I need to look at is, what does each line represent? This is a 0, this is a 3. There are 2 lines in between. If this is a 3, that's a whole number 3. It's not 1/3, it's saying 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's how this one works. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. Part A is asking the distance from the origin to here. How many numbers do you have to go to get to the smiley face? Part B, what is the coordinate of the lightning bolt? We're looking for here. What's the coordinate? All we're looking for is, what number does the lightning bolt fall on? If each line is a whole number, what number would this represent? This is a 6. This is a 9. What is this one? Part C. What is the coordinate of the heart? Once again, it's not saying the distance from the origin to here, it's just saying, what is the coordinate? What number does it fall on? Look there and tell me what number. If this is 12 and this is 15, what would this one be for the heart? All right. If you wanted to try out D for yourself, you can. It's saying, what is the coordinate at the midpoint of the lightning bolt in the heart? I'm going to help walk you through this one. From the lightning bolt here to the heart. To find the midpoint, midpoint means that middle spot. Meaning if I were to hop over 1 here, so let's see, I'm going to use the drawing tool. Okay, so I'm going to go over 1 here and 1 here. And then 1 here and 1 here. Still got more. I'm going to go over 1 here and 1 here. They both meet at this spot right here. What number would this be? Okay, this is a 9, blank, blank, 12. What number would this spot be? That's your midpoint. That's where if you go in from both sides, that's the middle spot. Okay? Next thing. Undo that. All right, number 2. You only have to pick 2 out of these 4, okay? Choose the 2 that you think would be easiest. You do not need to do all of them. If you would like to, you're more than Happy to? Then go ahead. We will check those over and make sure that you did them correctly, but you only have to pick two. For this first one, it says plot T so that its distance from the origin is 10. Here's the origin. We need to put a T on here at number 10. Let's look at the number line. Is the number line going as whole numbers for each hash mark, or is it fractional amounts? You need to figure that out and then put a T at the 10 mark. For this one here, it says plot M so that its distance is 11 fourths from the origin. Well, here's the origin. Now the thing with this is you have to break down what 11 fourths is, because when we look at this number line, it's 0. I don't know what this one is or this one, but we know that this is 3. So let's try and use common sense. If this is 3, what would this one be and what would this one be? We start at 0, and then all these light hash marks are probably fractional amounts, okay? There is no like 11 fourths out of here, so what you could do is you can say, how many times does 4 go into 11? You'll get that mixed number, and then you'll find that on the number line here. There's one more question though. Do not skip the second part, because that's a lot of the times you guys forget to do the other part to the question. It says, what is the distance from P to M? So wherever you plotted M, the distance from P here to that one. And if these are fractional amounts, you'll count by fractional amounts, not by a whole number. This one's trickier. If you want the challenge and you want to know if you got it right, try this one out. But if you're struggling, don't choose that one. If you do this one just for fun, just to see if you got it, I'm not going to mark you off. If you have 2 out of the 4 correct, you'll be good. So feel free to try it out. This one down here, plot a point that is 0.15 0.15 hundredths closer to the origin than Z. Well, here's 1. This is one whole. Pay attention to the way the number line goes. This is not the origin. This is 1. If you go down here, somewhere this way is going to be the origin. This might not be the origin, but you can see that this is 1 and then this is 0.75. So these are fractional amounts. These are decimal amounts. If you want to plot a point that is 0.15 hundredths closer than Z, is each line 15 hundredths? Or is every 2 lines? You need to figure out how you're counting. If you go from 0.75, can you add up by 0.15 to finally get to 1? Or is it every 2 get you 0.15? Or is every line a 0.5? You decide. Okay, so if it's getting closer, if it says plot a point that is 0.15 closer to the origin than Z, it's not saying at 0.15, it's saying here's Z, which one of these lines will be 0.15 closer, meaning 0.15 away from the Z. This last one, point U so that its distance from the origin is 3/6 less than that of W. So here's W. Once again, you need to look, this one's really difficult. You need to look that each one of these lines is not a whole number. It's more like a mixed number. We're counting by fractional amounts. So here's W, here's 10, and here's 9. So from here to here is jumping one whole number, which means that each one of these lines is a fraction of the whole. How many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that tells us that each of these are 1/6 marks. So this is 9, 9 and 1/6, 9 and 2/6, 9 and 3/6, 9 and 4/6, 9 and 5/6. And then when we get to 9 and 6/6, that's basically 6/6 is one whole. So that becomes our 10. So we have to plot U so that its distance from the origin is 3/6 less than that of W. Less than would have to go this way, or this way? This gets bigger, this gets smaller. Which way would I go and which line would I draw on to plot U so that its distance is 3/6 less than W? All right, then we've got number 3. Number 3, number line H shows, or is it a K? I think it's K, shows 12 units. Use number line K below to answer the questions. Once again, pay attention to the number line. Here is the origin. The origin starts on the right, not the left. They're just trying to switch it up and have you pay attention. This is 0. This is 2. Somewhere in between here is 1. What would make sense to be 1? Then here's 2. Here's 4. Somewhere in between here is 3. Are you getting the point? It says plot a point at 1 and label it A. Somewhere in here is number 1. You need to figure out what makes sense and label it A. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines in between. Where's that midpoint to make that 1? Letter B. Label a point that lies at 3.5 as B. So basically what that's saying is find 3.5 and label that B. We know 3.5 is somewhere in between here. This is 2, this goes to 4, somewhere in between here is 3.5, and then you mark that as a B. And letter C. It says label a point C whose distance from 0 is 8 units farther than that of B. Somewhere in here was B. Farther from the midpoint. If this is the midpoint, we're going this way. So somewhere in here was B. It has to be, what did it say? 8 units farther from B. 8 units farther, okay? So take a look at that, take your time. You do not need to do any more. If you would like to challenge yourself and try these out, you won't be marked down. Try it out. I'll write comments for you to look back on, but try your best. Have a good day.